Hello, this is George Slaughter, and we're returning to my Genesis lecture series. Today we're going to do Genesis 1, 9, and 10, from mental chaos to grounded creation. Introduction: the shift from fluid to form. Genesis 1, 9. Then God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. We're entering a turning point in the Genesis narrative. For the first time, something stable emerges, something solid. Dry land appears. But don't just think geology. There is a symbolic emergence, a metaphysical event. It's about the formation of structure out of chaos, the grounding of identity from within the sea of undifferentiated consciousness. This is the very first time the word doesn't just separate, it organizes. This is not destruction, it's gathering. Not fragmentation, but formation. Section 1, the gathering of the waters. The waters in Genesis are not just oceans. They are symbols of mental dispersion, unconscious emotion, and spiritual potential that has not yet been shaped. When God gathers the waters into one place, it mirrors the act of pulling together scattered thoughts, impulses, ideas, and emotions together to bring coherence to the mind. This is eternal meditation. This is observation. This is divine attention, focusing the entire field. Only once the entirety of the potentiality of all the waters are gathered, only then can something new be seen. Section 2, dry land appears. The self emerges. And let the dry land appear. In the language of consciousness, this is the moment when the self appears from the sea. Land is not just dirt, it is definition. It is a platform. It is the place from where destiny walks. In psycho-spiritual terms, this is the grounding of the I am. Before this moment, it's all formless motion. But here, identity begins to take root. This is the birth of the conscious ego from the subconscious womb. The universal ego from the primordial abyss. Section 3. Vertical to horizontal, cosmic structure in motion. Up to this point, Genesis builds along a vertical axis. Light appears from the darkness, day 1. Waters are separated, day 2. Then a firmament rises. But now, in day 3, something shifts. The vertical blueprint gives way to horizontal expression. Now, creation spreads. Now, space opens. Now, the divine mind expresses itself not just as height and depth, but as landscape, direction, and form. This is where spirit becomes space, where the archetype becomes terrain. Section 4, God called it earth, naming as activation. Genesis 1:10, and God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. This is not just labeling. This is naming as activation. To name something in ancient thought was to give it essence, to assign identity. Earth is the realm of form, grounded existence. Seas is the field of emotional depth, movement, and subconscious life. Together they form the full human condition, the inner flow and the outer frame. Section 5, and God saw that it was good. This is the first time since day 1 that God says, it is good. Why? Because the division from day 2 is now resolved through structure. The waters that were once divided are now organized. Now they serve a function. This is an echo of Christ. Day 2 did not receive a good because separation was not yet redeemed. But in day 3, the reconciliation begins. The land appears, and this is the place where Christ will walk, the ground of incarnation. Section 6, comparative mythology. This is not a solitary idea in Genesis. Ancient cultures all tell us of land emerging from watery chaos. In the Egyptian culture, the Benben mound rose from Nun, the primeval water. In Hindu cosmology, Vishnu sleeps on the ocean of milk until land arises. In Taoism, the Tao gives birth to the 10,000 things through the formless flow taking shape. In all cases, structure rises from seed, form emerges from potential. Genesis is encoding that same exact cosmic pattern. Section 7, the quantum parallel, collapsing into form. This moment mirrors what we see in quantum mechanics. The waters equals the wave field of potential. The word, the observer, the intentional focus, the land. The collapsed reality is the particle of potentiality, the suspended particles of potentiality that exist before the ignition of consciousness collapses it into grounded manifestation. Genesis isn't just old poetry. It's describing the mechanics of manifestation before we had physics to name it. Section 8, inner reflection. So what does this mean for you? You are part of the earth, called from the waters. Your mind is connected to the sea of infinite thought. And when you gather yourself through attention, breath, and intention, you too will rise. The self will become visible. The path will become walkable. And the word within you will name the land before you. In a closing thought, Genesis 1:9 is not about geography. It's about alignment. It's about the moment when the divine word speaks into your waters and your ground and appears. This is the first step towards truly being human, being conscious, being centered, and being grounded in divine identity. And next, the earth will bear fruit.